I don't know what this is making. Like if I'm in a video game, a crime scene, like what is this beat?
Okay, we're going.
You ready? God, I already switched it over. You're good.
Like, trap Columba.
No.
Fire, baby.
Want your water? Papers, please.
Let's go.
I don't know why it's still going. Oh, okay, there we go.
There we go. We are here.
Hey.
It was a rough.
God.
What's going on?
This was insane.
I don't even know.
We were here all early, like, we were here dumb early, yeah. We were here dumb early. And I'm like, and then we had, I'm blaming Charlie. Sorry, Charlie, I'm blaming you.
Yo, child, we need to talk.
That's we got. That was wild. I know. He looked so good last night.
I really don't like Starlight.
Oh my God. Okay.
It was a suit. We're gonna let it pass.
I need a glass of wine.
Take a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Last night was fun. We had fun last night.
It was very, very fun. I enjoyed it. We actually I was working the room. I was working
I know you were.
I was working a person. And I'm so happy that I got him.
Finally.
So I'm going to announce it because I got to lock in this guy.
Yeah.
All right. So on July 23rd, we're going to have Marcus Wills, an exclusive interview with him on July 23rd.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get him on. If anybody knows anything about this area, Marcus Wills is probably the best basketball player that came out of this area. And he's doing big things now. And he's a very low-key, don't want to speak type of person. And it was a struggle to get him on. But he finally agreed. And I was working. I was like, dude, you need to leave. People want to hear from you. So I'm excited with that interview. That's going to come up July 23rd. But yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
He was working hard. The talent was at work.
He was standing
all right,
up,
you know what?
I'm all set with you. Leaning on the wall.
Here we go. Look at
talent has done his job. He uses influence. He has left the building.
Okay. Sunglasses are on,
But yeah,
we have a fun show today.
We do have a fun show.
Yeah, we finally get so a little like a backstory. DJ Jules and I used to eat lunch at the same table in high school. And I'm telling you, I remember him saying, I'm going to be a DJ. Yes. That was his thing from jump. Like, from jump, I'm going to be a DJ. Tell me I'm wrong. No, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a DJ. Well, we had some other interesting conversations, too, on the lunch table. But,
Okay, we'll get all into
that. No, we don't need to. We don't need to. We don't need to. But I'm excited, though. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. I'm proud, as a fellow Latina, I'm proud to see him excel the way he has in his career and really capitalize on his career. He stood true to his dream, boy. And that's something you got to appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to get into deep with that. I'll get back to last night. So obviously we have a partnership with New Bedford
Harbor Hotel.
Yep. That is a nice place.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very
nice to stay at too.
Yeah.
I stood there once.
Is it? It's like okay, we won't.
I used to live there.
We won't get into that.
I know you said that.
I loved it. When I got COVID, I stayed there too.
Can I say too? I don't know. Like I spoke to Marguerite about this earlier when I got here. That usually I don't know what it is when I drink Tito's and Cran, and some places I go and I literally get a headache. and I realized because it's probably substituting the cheap alcohol into a high end alcohol bottle. But I had my Tito's and Crayon last night, and
you were fine.
I was refreshed. Had more energy. So I think a lot of people are trying to poison me in different other establishments. What do you think?
Like direct poison targeting you? No, I just think maybe you just had they was trying to rip you off.
Yeah,
that's all that was.
Poison.
Yeah,
that's wild though. But I had mentioned that to Janine when we ran to the liquor store real quick, and I was like, Berto said A, B, and C. She's like, yeah, that's like a thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
You bartender, don't they do that?
Yeah, but no, our bar would never do that. But I feel like private bars that are making that money are going to do that because they're getting that money directly. So some do. I think it's horrible. They shouldn't do that. But I've never been at an establishment. Who even has the energy to do that? And what are you doing with the
greedy people?
Yeah, true.
We get substitute like cheap alcohol for high end alcohol. And you could charge double the price.
Need to get that guy from Bar Rescue on there, yell at somebody.
Oh, yeah. But when I get a headache drinking Tito's, I just drink some cheap vodka.
Most likely.
And shout out to New Bedford Harbor Hotel. He wasn't serving cheap vodka.
Yeah.
You have the real stuff.
The blueberry lemon drops were hitting.
Oh my god, they were so pretty.
They were so good.
Oh my god.
See, I might have had the strawberry one, and I had the blueberry. Yeah.
There's a lot of liquor.
He was getting creative. Yeah, they creep up on you.
Yeah.
Why you was fired up last night?
I wasn't fired up, but I could have been. The night could have went left quickly.
You could have got a room.
Good. I don't know about all that.
All right, we're gonna start the show. We got let's talk about a trending topic that people were talking about. Let's talk about real quick before we bring on our guest. This Titanic vessel thing. Can I say something?
Go ahead, say something.
This may seem kind of like, I don't know, racial, but like Brian was saying earlier.
Well, white people do this.
White people.
It's definitely that.
It's called WPS.
Here's my thing about this thing. Like, before we found out what really happened, I was like thinking about, all right, they were stuck that deep.
Yeah.
Imagine being in that vessel.
No.
I'm just thinking, thank God what happened. Like, if they had to die, I'd rather die that way than die the way I thought they were dying, where they're in this compartment for such a long period of time and
ran out of oxygen and just
that'll be
dying one at a time. It could have went. You know what? I'm just gonna say this. It's a tragedy because people lost their lives. They're humans, right? So it's horrific. Nobody ever wants somebody to die or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that as human beings, we need to be more cognizant of what or put more value on our own lives. Like, why not take so many risks? Like, I think that was incredibly insane, especially when they were warned that this vessel may not make another trip down there, but it's just crazy.
They actually signed waivers.
Of course they did.
If you have a waiver that says potential death.
That happens. So people skydive. You sign the waiver.
Yeah.
That's true.
The go-kart, the racing kart stuff, you sign a waiver.
Black people don't do that.
Right.
Black people don't do that shit.
But all I'm saying is this. I think it's incredibly tragic. It's horrific that people lost their lives. Do I think it was dumb for people to spend $250,000 to go into that? Yes, especially when so many documentaries have been already made. Like,
would you go
don't understand it.
Would you go into like a military, the huge submarines? I don't even know if I want
to. I'm debating on going on my first cruise. Like, I'm not going in none of that ever. I'm not. That's why I was like, is this a Machiavelli situation? Like, are they really? Could we really not track that? Like, this is crazy.
All I know is homeboy said he had a game controller.
That's good. I'm done.
I'm done at that.
I'm done.
Not the Xbox controller that you're gonna. No, I'm all set.
Reading our tweets.
I feel horrible for the families, though. They have to grieve the loss of those people, but. I shouldn't have said, but I feel bad about this situation.
This is how numb we are when it comes to tragedies now. Mm-hmm. When you have people, when it's going on, they're making memes about it. Mm-hmm. They're laughing about it. Sorry. I know I'm going to hell. Like, I'm like to myself, that's fucked up.
Sure is fucked up.
I'm over here. Really is.
I'm guilty though.
No. Yeah.
I'm guilty because we all fall. I'm gonna sound like I'm in church right now, but we all fall one cue short of, being decent human beings every once in a while. And it's when you think it's so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was tragic, but it was also so dumb.
It was, but
and then when you see, and then we rewind, right? The Simpsons had an episode of them going down there doing that shit.
Episodes. I don't know.
Yeah, I think South Park had one too. Like, the shit is wild.
Are they getting their ideas from the Simpsons and South Park?
I don't know. More and more, I always say that this world is. You ever see the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah.
This is the time that we're in. It's like,
crazy.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm
glad. It's sad that they died. But if I'm going to die, I'd rather die in an ultimate explosion where I probably even know what didn't happen.
But that's just a speculation, right? You don't know if people are already dead before the explosion happened.
They said it was in descent, but they don't know.
Right.
But I hope that's the way they die. If they're gonna die, I hope that's the way versus how I thought they were dying, being in that compartment, 5 of them stuck. Oh my God! I just think about it, like literally buried.
Had to go to the bathroom.
It was like a little. They had a little bathroom, the little toilet thing. Just sitting there waiting. You don't know, yo. You're just. Oh.
No way.
And I guess
I wouldn't even have went.
A kid. It was a 19-year-old kid that was on the vessel who didn't want to go, but he didn't want to tell his father no for Father's Day.
I feel so bad for that kid. Yeah, the 19-year-old. That's true.
He didn't want to go. That is crazy.
Wow.
That is crazy. So
life
is short. Yeah. You got to make better choices.
I
don't know.
I don't know, but thank you for starting this off on a very tragic,
I know,
type of morbid situation.
I really feel right now.
Appreciate that.
I'm like,
wonder what the mood song's gonna be.
We're gonna have an upbeat one.
Please do.
I want to shout out before we go to the music break and bring on our guests. I want to shout out Straight to the Point Sports. Their show.
With Dwayne Pina,
Dwayne, it was
so
very
good.
Interesting.
It was so good.
I want to let you know what I got out of that interview because I think it's very important. I actually had this conversation with Marcus Wills last night. The question was, how did Dwayne Pina got into coaching? And this is where I took in, and I hope people heard this, and I wish that they talked about it more. He talked about when he was a little bit out of college, and he got a phone call from Eddie Rogers, and he asked, "Hey, I got a bunch of coaches coming down to work out my son and another player to look for college recruiting. And can you come and work out with them and work them out actually?" And he said, and he was playing for the flag football team, the Killer Bees. And so he went to go play that game. He said, "I don't know, coach, if I can do it because I have a flag football game to play." And after the game, usually the routine is after the game, they sit and they chill out and they drink and potty and talk shit and whatever. So he didn't commit to it. But then when the game was over, he made a choice. Is, am I going to go and drink with the fellas, or I'm going to help the coach and work out the other players? He chose, something, out of this, like he said, something, why am I not going to help work them out? So he went to go work them out. And because he did that, the coaches that went to go look at these players actually was watching him and offered him a coaching job. So imagine if he made the choices to hang out with his boys.
He may never had that opportunity.
He would never have an opportunity for coaching and be in the place where he is now.
Yeah. Right.
So I really wanted to get into that as far as just choices in life where it can bring you. A lot of people get stuck in their comfortable surroundings and fun. Yeah. And he chose to all right, I'm gonna go. Go to work. Yeah. And he found a career path that he enjoys. So I just wanted to touch on that. It was a good interview. He said a lot of things, and that's why I can't wait for Michael Wills' interview, because through the conversations we had last night, his perspective and how he got to the point where he got is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Straight to the Points has stepped up their game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're in competition, but I'm saying they've stepped up their game.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. The talent. They don't have the talent.
I don't know.
They don't have the talent.
They don't have the talent.
They do sometimes. The talent be
I
you
do.
know
I
what?
make
That's
my
what.
parents-
That's yeah. Whatever.
That's the only reason why
I'ma
they're
let it
doing
go.
good,
At the
because the
highest
talent
ratings when
has
I'm
been
on that
on
show.
there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move this right along.
All right, we're gonna take a music break. We're gonna come back with our special guest, DJ Jules. You're listening to the Wind Down Podcast of WMB1 Radio. I'm gonna play some Chris Brown. It's a new one, Summer Too Hot. We'll be right back after this. Summer too Yes, we are back. We are back. You're listening to the Wind Down Podcast, WMB1 Radio. Where's my glasses? Because the talent needs to be in character.
Not the talent.
Yes, the talent needs to be in character. You're listening to the Wind Down Podcast.
Do you know, have you officially met the talent?
Listen. Don't look me in the
eyes. Stupid.
I'm here with my host J9 and my producer MJ. What's going on? What's going on? This show is brought to you by Manulani Saray,
bringing the spa experience into your home.
And yes, and every guest gets a gift.
Yes,
really.
Yes.
Every guest gets a gift from Manulani Saray.
Yep. So you got to open it up while we're on camera.
On camera.
Touch it, feel it,
rub it down. Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Manulani Saray, get your products.
Yep.
Go on Manulani's Facebook page. Manulani's
nice, right?
Oh yeah, I just bought like 3 of them today. I like that.
Yeah.
With my decor.
Got a candle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I don't know what this is. Gentleman's body balm.
There you go. Oh yeah. The lady's gonna like that. I'll tell you right now.
Nice, right?
Yes.
I like that.
It's Latina owns. Latina owns.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
There we go.
And that's where you can get her stuff. She got a nice products, a lot of good products.
Some great robes.
Yeah, yes. I'm telling you, she got us. We're like consistent customers now.
I got the eye serum today.
Yeah.
You know.
Let me tell you something. That oatmeal face wash.
Yeah, the face wash is good. Woo. Yes, Manolani Suray. That's what the show's presented by Manolani Suray. All right, let's get into it. Jules, I always start when I have a new guest on my show. I always start off with what I call an icebreaker question. Mm-hmm. So it's just a lighthearted, fun question to ask that a lot of people have trouble. And I don't think as a DJ you have trouble with this question, but I'm interested in the answer. I'm gonna give you a scenario. I want you to answer it very truthfully, which I expect you will. Okay. Scenario is this: you're stranded on an island. Yeah. And you don't know when you're gonna get rescued. Mm-hmm. And you may be not even get rescued at all, but you have access to listen to music. Okay. But you only have access to listen to one artist or one album. What would that be?
So that artist is most likely going to be D'Angelo. That album is probably going to be, it's either going to be Brown Sugar or Voodoo. Whoa. I'm probably going to say, actually, I think I'm going to go with Voodoo.
Jesus.
I think I'm going to go with Voodoo.
Mm-hmm. I didn't expect that.
So, why not? Because you can either have an artist, you can have all of his albums. So if you're narrowing it down to one of his albums, then do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if it's one album.
Or one album.
Or one artist. Yeah,
one album or
one artist.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's crazy? That actually might change. Because if I'm narrowing it down to D'Angelo just has such a small catalog of music. It's a very strong catalog. But
yeah.
Man, that's... Damn. Honestly, I might have to still totally change it. It might have to be like Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Okay. Yeah. Just because he's just got such a large body of work.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan, I feel like he's just got a lot of great music.
So you'll be able to tap into every mood that you're in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the reason why I asked that question, because I think it's a good start of the show where because I feel music is one of the most influential things in this world.
Yeah.
And when people answer that, it actually shows a little bit of themselves of because we like the music, but at the same time you want to listen to music that you can kind of relate to in your moods. So you're basically telling a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I'm a big R&B head, man.
Yeah.
Big R&B head.
Yeah. So. What R&B though? What kind of R&B? What type of R&B? Today's R&B or just R&B in general?
R&B in general. I mean, I'm not that guy that's today's music, because I feel like whatever you're into, you'll be able to find music that you like.
Yeah.
You know, her, H-E-R.
Yeah.
She's my favorite artist right now. My favorite artist right now. She's super dope.
Mm-hmm.
She's an artist now. R&B music is really, really dope right now, in my opinion. And not necessarily things that, you hear on the radio, but sometimes you just got to dig a little bit, you just got to. The way I found out about her was at the time, Tinashe, I don't know if you guys remember Tinashe, she had a big song, Two On, a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were pushing her really hard. And the record label was like, Jules, I know you shout out to my man, Paul Nelson. He was working for RCA at the time. He was like, Jules, I know you're super into R&B. We've got this new artist, and her name is Her. We don't know who she is. They were really keeping they knew who she was.
Yeah.
But they were oh, we don't know who she is. They were keeping her a secret. Here's a link to her music, and I was like, oh, let me check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dog, this album is crazy. Yeah. It was just so nuts.
Yeah.
And, we weren't playing her on jamming. They weren't playing her anywhere on the radio, right? It was really if you knew, you knew.
Yeah.
You check it out on Spotify. Or
was she signed at the time?
She was signed to RCA, but they weren't even pushing her.
Oh, okay.
They weren't even pushing her. It was literally hey, Jules, listen to it because I know you like R&B. Not listen to it because you're on the radio.
Oh, okay.
So it was I think you'll like this.
Oh. So
that's kind of how I got introduced to her. But there's just so many dope artists out there,
because I'm an R&B head too, and I'm one of those people where I feel like R&B is not like it was used to. and y'all are into the music scene, especially as a DJ, so you know where to look. Before, when back in the day, R&B was one of the top genres of music, where it was just everything. It's like everything was R&B. Even hip hop went into R&B, where you have an R&B artist being features on albums. So, do you feel like I feel like the female R&B artists, you notice them versus the male R&B. I don't know what's your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think, just thinking quickly off the top of my head, there's a couple of male R&B artists that I could probably rock with, but I think in general the females are a lot stronger right now.
Yeah,
when you're looking at like Kiana Lede, like her, Ella May. I mean, there's like somebody put me onto this artist that like is super small. She's out of the UK. Like her name is Zillow. Like her out like the album. If you guys listen, I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but like when I listened to the album, I was like, this is an incredible album. Like it was such a dope album. Like I was like, this should be like maybe not like radio, but like I feel like this should be something that people are listening to and be hip to. So I think like when I think about like male R&B artists, I think of like Leon Bridges. Again, not. I got to keep on saying like not mainstream heads, but
Kevin Ross.
I like but there's not as many guys holding it down as it is.
Why do you think? Because like I look at it as, because R&B is the whole content is about love, heartbreak, whatever. Like that's the main content when it talks about R&B
or expressing feelings.
Is it? And I think it's more. I think where nowadays, and this could go into mindset or the psychological of it, where it's more acceptable that content for women to speak on versus men versus was back then.
Yeah,
you think that has any influence?
I mean, it could, especially like if you look at the way hip hop is right now. I shouldn't say hip hop. The way rap music is right now, where it's more melodic.
Yeah,
and the guys are kind of like singing and rapping, kind of like it. It seems like more guys go that way. When you think about like a Bryson Tiller, right? Like I don't know. I don't know why more guys aren't doing it. It might be the feelings. It might be, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like back in the day that might have been more of an issue, right? Like guys were more macho back in the day, where now it's kind of more acceptable for people to express their feelings. People are more like.
You think so? Because you think we think of R&B back in the day, it was all about, I'll make love to you or I'll court you. But you know what I'm saying? Even the hardcore type of music that was out there, like, like give an example of R. Kelly, his type of music was very sexual, but it was almost in a way of there was some type of element of maturity or respect or the way he did it. It wasn't as raw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You remind me of my G. Like, it was a very sexual song, but it was done in a very genius wordplay.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember this, like, no lie. Yesterday I was, I Googled, Next.
Yeah.
The group Next.
Yeah.
So, their first album had 3 singles. And the only reason, like, I'm not like this. I don't remember all this stuff. I literally Googled it yesterday. They started off with Butter Love, which was a dope song, which was actually the song I was listening to, which made me go down the rabbit hole. The next song was Too Close. And the song after that was I Still Love You, right? When I was doing the Wikipedia, right, it was talking about how the music got, like, critically, like, it was a good album, but they talked about how over sexual it was and explicit it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like we kind of like when we think about it now, we think we hear WAP on the radio.
Yeah.
It's like how is Too Close too sexual?
For us it was when it came out and we was jamming to it. There was no need.
It wasn't super crazy to me. Like I never thought it was like that outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even thinking that when I was listening when it first came out.
Yeah, I never thought.
I knew what they were talking about.
Yeah,
but I just like how it was done in a wordplay sense where.
You feel like it was more eloquent? Is that what you're saying?
Kept your imagination. It gave you almost a smooth way to talk about something so raw. Now they're just direct.
Yeah, but I think people, it just gets like, if you talk to your parents, right? If you talk to your mom, you know, like if we talk to our parents about how music was back when they were, like Isley Brothers was like Receive Me.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
Now, then when we're coming up, it's like R. Kelly, Sex Me.
Yeah.
Right. Like
okay.
Like and now it just gets. I don't want to say worse, but it just gets more explicit. Even when you're watching TV, things that you might not have really heard.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it's like, oh shoot, they just swore on FX. Like it might be at 10 o'clock, but it's still like cable. Like you wouldn't have heard that back in the day.
Yeah.
But to kind of bring it back, like I think that back in the day, men were like, you got to be more macho.
Yeah.
You can't express your feelings, even though it was in the R&B and it was in the music. You can't be soft, right? Now it's okay for you to express your feelings and say like, I need help. I'm suffering with depression. I'm this and that. So it's weird to see like you said, like the shift where, back then it was guys expressing their feelings through music, and now through R&B, you don't really get that a lot from.
Because I'm here is almost reverse, like how you said, like guys were more macho, but the music content was a lot of softness.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's almost reverse. It's like men are more soft, but the music is so hard.
Yes.
That's okay.
100%. Yeah.
Wow. Like that's the first. I didn't look at that perspective. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm thinking too, like, say you were speaking of her and her song "Make the Most of Her" she did with Loner.
Mm-hmm.
It's my friend's little brother. He's graduated from Bourne, and that's him on there, and he wrote that. So a lot of these songs, men are writing these songs for the females too.
Okay.
So some of the songs with the males, it could be written by a female. They're still an artist at the end of the day. It's not necessarily how they feel, but it's what they feel comfortable with performing, right? Mm-hmm. Or what they want their character to be.
That's a great point. Like Babyface just dropped an album with like all female.
Oh, love it! Right? Ladies' Night Out, Girls' Night Out, or something like that. Yeah.
And I mean, he wrote all those out. Wrote all those songs. Right?
Yeah.
And when you're talking about R&B not being the same, I really feel like it's because Babyface ain't writing the records.
That's what it is. I think he's a go producer.
Between him and R. Kelly, man. I mean, people say what they want to say about R. Kelly, but like when you're talking about like great R&B music, like when we came up 90s, early 2000s, it was. I mean, Babyface brought it. Babyface and R. Kelly were doing things in the 80s as well. Like that was like that was the core of the music. Like those two artists. And
true.
I feel like Babyface not writing as many songs. Like
that's probably what it is.
He could put on a good show, boy. When I saw him, I said, "Come on."
You hear about him and Anita Baker going at it?
Yeah, Anita, she's out of pocket for that. What? Anita Baker's out of pocket for that. I'm sorry, she's out of pocket.
It had nothing to do with Babyface. It had to do with his fans. They don't think he's an opening act. He's a headliner, which they have a legit argument. I mean, it's Babyface. But Anita Baker got her feelings and had to speak on
it. She said, she wanted him to put his fans in check. Babyface was like,
yeah,
I'm Babyface.
Yeah.
But before we continue with Babyface, when they were doing the verses, that boy handled things with him and Teddy Riley so smooth. Did you watch when he first got onto the verses and Teddy Riley was having a problem with his Wi-Fi? Yeah. Man, he was with his yak. He was just chilling. Goes, take your time. I said, I want to be Babyface. I want to be Babyface when
I'm going to tell you something. If you have not seen Babyface in concert, I encourage people travel to go see Babyface, especially when he hasn't been a headliner for a little while. He was he opened up for Kim. I told you that. That's when I saw him, and I was just like, Babyface opening up for Kim? He opened up for Kim, and I'm telling you, the entire crowd was there for Babyface, hands down. That was in Springfield.
Yeah, see, I
dope
wanted to go,
dope
I
show.
like the show that he was gonna put on I need to see Babyface just do Babyface. I don't want to
Let
hear
me tell
all the
you.
fluff. I want to hear the hits. And
And
that's it.
Let me tell you what he did. Let me tell you what he did. He sang all the songs, not only the songs that he sang himself, but the songs that he wrote for other people. His show, he was the show. Kem came on and Kem was like, you know how Kem is. Kem's like, really even killing him. Yeah, kind of like mellow. Babyface put on a show and we were front row. We were right in front.
You were ready to go.
Amazing. We were on our feet the entire time. You want that's Babyface gives you everything.
Yeah, I want to see Babyface.
And he can move still. Yeah. He's smooth. He's dope. He's
smooth.
By far one of my favorite shows. I'll let you know after I see Erykah Badu and Yasin Bey because I'm seeing them too.
I got a DJ that day, man.
I'm there.
Erykah Badu. Next, Erykah Badu, D'Angelo, and Maxwell. Their first albums. First album, I probably like the best three. In my opinion, like they're my favorite R&B albums, like of all time. Like Erykah Badu's first album is amazing.
Yes,
like, it was just so crazy, and I'm so mad that I'm not gonna be able to see her.
Sorry for you. I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll send you some pics. Send you some pics.
Why, you hear him say? I guess I'll hear him.
No, next lifetime. He's a pun. He's using that. It's a wordplay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I missed that.
You sure did.
Go on and on.
Yeah. Come on.
You better call Tyrone.
Okay.
I'm busy over here on all these bags.
There you go. Right.
All right. Let's get into it. All right. So
stupid. Y'all are stupid.
Well, that's a good R&B conversation. I like having those conversations because I'm an R&B head myself. What got you into DJ? What inspired you to be a DJ?
There were two moments. The first moment, I can't say the first moment. I really don't remember which was the first moment, but like I just remember there were two defining moments. One of the main moments was Sinbad, the comedian. He used to have a talk show late at night.
Yep.
And he had a DJ week. And I remember the first DJ that they had was DJ Scribble. And DJ Scribble went on and he did a quick set and he was just going, Scribble. If you ever seen DJ Scribble, he's like all over the place. He's very flashy and he's like, da, da, da. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then, I missed it a couple of days and then, I was just, watching TV again. I come across it again and it was DJ Jazzy Jeff. And some people don't realize because Jazzy Jeff is so connected to Will Smith and, people look at him as the dude from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they don't realize how amazing of a DJ he was. He is literally the GOAT. He's and when he was DJing, he was just scratching in the only way I could describe it is it looked like his arm was an extension of the turntable, like it was connected to the record. Like it was like he was part of the turntables. Like everything, he wasn't flashy. I still, every time he's in the area, I try to check him out. He's very technical, but he's not all over the place. He's very precise. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. It was crazy. I was like, I want to do that. And then the other time was, shout out to Wall G and DJ Mudfoot. Back in the day, they used to do, Margarita probably remembers this, they used to do parties at the Old Vote.
Come on.
Come
on. So definitely. We was up in there.
So Panthers, they used to do parties and, it was normally the two, no disrespect to any of the other DJs at the time, but really the two main DJs in New Bedford was Wall G and Mudfoot. Those were the dudes. So I remember just going to the party that the Sons of Panthers, shout out to, I know Charlie Perry was a part of that, Tim Blessed, and a whole bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
But watching them, just seeing what they did was just like, wow, this is dope. I want to do that. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's what got me into it.
Yeah, shout out to Wall G, shout out to Medfoot.
Yeah.
Actually, Wall G did one of my friends' wedding.
Yeah.
Last time. He's doing big things too.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
He's
going. He's just catching flights.
So,
yeah.
That guy.
Love to see it.
the art of DJing, like you talk about, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and like I remember Will Smith's um in Jazzy Jeff's first album. It was called Rock. It was something I forgot. It was Rock the Mic or something like that. It wasn't Parents Don't Understand. It wasn't that album. And on that album, I remember I was like, wow, he's a great DJ. And I read Will Smith's book, and he talks about a chapter on what he did. He constantly in the basement, practicing his craft to become who he was.
Yeah.
Just saying that to say this, I'm sure you watched the evolution of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was so impressed when listening to Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah.
And how he came about scratching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what he must have been like 15 around that time,
mm-hmm.
of like how like they didn't have the technology that we have today, where he was writing lines on the record to know where the break ends so he continue the break, and this is a kid coming up with it. This is the beginning of hip hop.
Yeah.
So I say this to say this: how does technology affect DJing, and do you have? Is it more of a respectful? How can I say? Not. I want to use the word respectful, because I look at DJs as the new DJs coming up and what they're working with versus someone you came up and what you work with. Your craft is they have more of a easy in.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, new DJs definitely have an easier time to get into DJing, and that's it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like with anything, when you're looking at technology, like there's always the pros and there's the cons. The great thing is that anybody can be a DJ right now. That's great, right?
Yeah.
The bad thing is anybody can be a DJ. So when you need somebody to DJ a party for you, you're like, do I want to go with DJ Jules? Do I want to go with Wild G? Do I want to go with Mud? Or do I want to go with this dude who just started?
Mm-hmm.
He's only charging me $50.
Yeah.
So but that's always been an issue, right? Like I remember when I was DJing with records, there were DJs. I would go check them out. They were DJing with records, and they would. I knew what they were doing because like I had been there. Like they went to the record store and they bought the newest records, right?
Yeah.
They just bought what was hot, like either hot or just came out, and they didn't have an understanding of music. They didn't have they weren't able to take it back. It was just playing new songs, and you can't do that. So I think the technology is great. When you look at a mixer, like there's a mixer, it's out of the frame right now, but like there's a mixer right there, right? Like that mixer looks totally different, and it's the same company that made the mixer that like my first mixer. So like my first mixer was a Rain mixer. Like there was no screen on it, there were no pads on it. It was it was an analog mixer where you just plugged in the turntables and it played music. What's dope is that like you can do a whole bunch of different things, right? Like you could go from different parts of the song just by pressing a button. You can, you can change the pitch and do
like knob like this.
Like the things that you could do when given that technology is crazy. Like when you look at a lot of people don't know, but like DJ Craze, he's like a battle DJ. These guys really like they try to figure out like how they can use that mixer to like its fullest potential in the technology. So the technology is great, and when you're using it, but I don't get caught up with like anybody can come in, because I'm like, yo, come in. If you want a DJ, come in and try it out, see if you like it. But it is tough.
Because I remember a time when I was in Joe Vaughn's, right? And Kid Capri was DJing. And this is when it was records. He had crates of records. And I literally stood there the whole night and watched him. He was sweating by the end of the night, putting in that work. Wow. To see him watch as the records are playing, pick out records, put the records, drop it on a dime to drop it to control the party. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So when you have the DJs coming in, and all you can do is turn the knob, you know what I'm saying, or press of a button, versus what Kid Capri was doing. is like that's where I have a different amount of respect. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, everybody has to have, because I think we all know DJing is a talent. You have to have the talent.
Absolutely.
You got to have the ear of music, especially when you're trying to control the pot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about the difference between what Kid Capri was doing, you know, carrying crates where all his shows, and this. It's amazing to watch.
Let me say this: when you saw Kid Capri, he wasn't carrying any crates. All right.
No. Yeah, true that.
He wasn't carrying any crates. No. Honestly, Kid Capri is like one of my favorite DJs. Like, he is amazing.
Yeah.
Kid Capri, like when I talked about those buttons on the mixer, where like you just press it and it goes to the part of the song you want. Kid Capri was so intricate with, like, it's called needle dropping, where like he would know where it was on the record, and he would just boom drop it, and it would be right where he wanted it to be. It was crazy.
That's wild,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's like if anybody has a chance to like look at a record, like honestly, like look at a record, like really look at it, like get it close, and you'll see the grooves right where the needle goes.
Yeah.
Right. There's got to be at least 50 to 100 grooves. For a song,
for sure. Yeah.
So like for him to like just drop it in that right groove, and like he's incredible.
Yeah.
But again, like there's a difference between me, who came up using records, and Kid Capri, who came up, you know, like Kid Capri is on a totally different level. Like, and you know, if I came up now, like obviously there's a bunch of different things that I'd be able to do, and you know, like access. But like Kid Capri came up with records, I came up with records, and Kid Capri is on like a totally different level than I'll ever be. But you know, again, there are people who come up now and they love the culture. You know, like same thing with hip hop. You know, not just talking about DJing, but like just anything. Right? There are people who just come in just to do it, and they, you know, they don't really care. They're just trying to make money. They're like, oh, I like music. Let me just DJ.
Yeah.
And there's no real style. They're just playing music. You know, there's always going to be the difference. There's always going to be those people, whether the technology is there to let them in easy or not. You know, and I hope that people see that there's a difference between me and Kid Capri, right? Yeah. Just like I hope that there's, you know, people see that there's a difference between me and if you start DJing, right? Like if you start DJing, I want people to be like, Berto's charging a lot less, but like Jules is a lot better. Like, I hope that people like really notice that difference.
Yeah.
What's funny is like there was actually a time where like I was DJing with somebody else, and people were like they noticed the difference. You know, like, and that's what I strive for. And it's not even to like. I just want everybody to have a good time, right? Like it's all about the party. Like I love. It's never ego with me, you know. When it comes to DJing a party, like I don't like it to make it about me, because Margarita doesn't go out every week, and she came out to see me DJ, or she just came out to you know, she just came out because she doesn't know who I am, right? So like I want to make sure that she has a good time. I want to make sure that you guys have a good time. So like, you know, it's never about the ego, but you know, when I DJ, like I want people to see the difference between me and, you know, like Berto, or even like me and Mudfoot, or me and Wal G, right? Like I've DJed with Wal G before. Like I want people to see the difference between me and Wal G. You know, so yeah.
So so that's a good segue. Like the art of DJing. What are you looking at in your choice of music? Is there a routine that you create even before you go into an event? Or how do you know what song? Like, because it's an art to pick the right song. Because again, I'll just reference to Kid Capri. Like even when the first song he hit, the way he just set it up and it hit, and he had people on the dance floor all night, drop after drop after drop.
Yeah.
What goes into that mindset? What is the art of that?
I think part of it is just like trying to figure out like what's gonna get people going, right? And tapping into emotions, tapping into like memories. You know, when we're talking about R. Kelly and we're talking about, you know, Babyface, and right next we're talking about all these different artists, and it's like, oh man, I remember where I was when this song came out, or you know, like, so there are different things that I try and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. Like I did something the last time I DJ'd and it didn't really hit the way I wanted it to hit, and that's just how it goes sometimes. And sometimes I do things on the fly and it knocks it out the park, and I'm like, oh shoot, I got to do that again. So I think part of it is just like really looking through the music, and talking to people, just seeing what other people. There's a big reggae record right now that like I was just on Instagram. I was just flicking and I saw a DJ playing it, and like the people went crazy. And it was a reggae record I didn't even know about. And it was like the next day, Pup Dog from the music director from 94.5, he was like, yo, did you hear this record? Like he was putting me on. I was like, oh shoot, like I just heard this record. So taking all the music from like there might be like a crazy Cape Verdean song that you're hip to, or whatever it is. Like I try to take all that stuff and put it together to make a dope vibe. In DJing in New Bedford, I DJ other places, but like New Bedford specifically, New Bedford has always been like delayed in the music, right? So even when I first started DJing, I feel like it was easier when I first started DJing to like get people hip to the music, like the new music, just because I was DJing a lot of Sweet 16s and I was working at Upward Bound. So like the kids trusted me. They knew who I was. Now it's like some people don't really know, there are some people who don't know who I am, like sometimes it's like their parents booking me. But like trying to educate people, like, I'll get on stage and be like, yo, you guys need to know this song. Like you need to know this record, and I'll play it. And I'll do it like, man, Chubby Chub did it at Sanctuary when In the Club came out. I'll never forget that, man. Like, Chubby Chub at Sanctuary, and everybody just looked at him like, what the hell is this? And then he was like, I'm bringing it back, and dropped it again.
Yo, I remember that. In a row, yo.
He was like, listen, this song is crazy. And it was like, sometimes you got to do that, So
Ether, the Jay-Z battle. I was in the club in Boston when he hit the back and then played them again.
Chubby Chub would always do stuff like that. But like it's for me it's just trying to figure out the songs that people want to hear the music that they know, right? Like people don't like I can't play a whole set of music that people don't know because people want to go out and sing the songs that they want to hear, right? People want to go in their car, put on Spotify, Apple Music, and hear the music that they want to hear. Then they want to go into the club and hear the same exact songs, right? And then, so I feel like my job is to like play music that you want to hear that you didn't even know or that you forgot about. Like Next, right? Butter Love. Or, I Still Love You. Like there were records that like, I'm like, yo, let me play this and see how people react. Like, I remember when I first started playing, I was like, yo, Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell. Like, I never played that. And I was like, yo, that was my joint back in the day. And now it's crazy. I don't want to say like I was the first person I ever played, but now I hear like a lot of DJs playing it. And again, not even from around here. Like, I follow a lot of different DJs. Like, it seems like, I don't know if it was like something that clicked just global, nationally. Like, people were like, yo, we got to play this record. But like, it was like everybody was always playing like Nice and Slow, maybe Genuine Pony, Shy, If I Ever Fall in Love. Those were the records that I was like, yo, let me play these. Let me play this. And it just went off. And, now I hear a lot of people, playing those records and just digging a little deeper and trying to find. So that's kind of like what I do. And, I try to not to like, it's tough to like, I don't know. Some people are like so programmed, like from hearing the same music, so trying to like break out of that. But,
do you have like a routine set that you always is your go to, or is are you always on the fly?
I have sets that I like go to sets that I know work, right? So like. There are songs that I always fly. So if you go, like, if you really like go and see me DJ every week, like there are sometimes you're like, I know he's gonna play, like, I can mix it up, but like there are times I go, I don't care, I'll just say I go from Poison to like This Is How We Do It, and then I kind of like branch off from there. So like people kind of know like if he plays Poison, he's probably gonna play like This Is How We Do It. right? Or like Jay-Z, like there's like a Jay-Z set I do with like PSA, like just Jay-Z hits. Like, and I kind of like, yeah, like I do that. But as far as like curating like a whole night and just having a whole set of song, you know, like just, I'm going to do this, do that.
Yeah.
It's like 10-20% like sets, and then like 80 to 90% just on the fly. Yeah.
Because I look at it like when I'm listening to DJs and like, you know, you listen to DJs and they'll play one song and then they'll play the next song because that wasn't it. Like it just didn't go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that as much music is out there, to find that music that complements the song that you just played before. That's an art. That you got to have a real ear, and I think that's what makes a good DJ. Speak on that.
I mean, I've been there. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I DJed an event, like, and I was like, I played something. I can't even think of what it is, but like, I played something dope, and then I went into something else. I was like, ooh, that was me.
Everyone's like, I'm gonna go get you on a drink.
Bathroom break. Okay.
Yeah. Or like, you know, it could be the song choice, or it could just be like how you brought it in. It's like, I didn't bring it in right. Like, you know, like, and part of that is like practice. You know, like, you know, I need to practice more. But like sometimes it's like, you know, practicing it, and sometimes it's just like, you know, like you really are on the fly all the time, just trying to figure out like what the next song is gonna be, and then like, you know, you just get that inspiration, like, oh shoot, you know what would go good? Like this would go good into this, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, that didn't really work the way I thought it was gonna work. It didn't really, you know, go together. It happens. You know, listen, I'm gonna say this first. Kid Capri could probably DJ for like 10 hours straight and have like a phenomenal set. But it's a lot easier to, like, when you go to a club and you see Kid Capri DJing for like an hour, 2 hours, right? Like he's just DJing that like headliner set for it to just be flawless, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like when you're DJing like a 4-hour set and you're like, you know, you just kind of like trying to figure everything out and just, you know, you trying to figure out what the crowd wants to hear. You know, sometimes, you know, you're gonna mess up, you know, or you're not gonna. It's not gonna hit every single time, but you know, the goal is that it hits. You know.
So, because I'm as you're describing that, I'm trying to be in your shoes. All right, you're on the DJ booth. You know, you're behind your equipment, and y'all choosing these songs. You're choosing these songs on the fly. That's kind of pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's pressure because you got to choose it on the fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, you just got to know the music that's what I'm going to get, because you only have a certain amount of time before you have to go on to the next song.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're playing the whole song. You know, like DJ is not like that. Yeah. So you got to pick the right song, but you also got to drop that song at the right point of the previous song. So talk about that feeling, that what are you thinking going through that little time frame of picking the next song?
It's almost like chess, right? Like you're never thinking about like the next move. You're always thinking like 3 or 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Right. So like there are times where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play, you know, "Calm Down" by Rema. You know, like, so like we're in the Afro beats, right? So like I'm gonna do "Calm Down," boom. So I'm gonna play that next. All right. So next song I want to play is, depending on if I want to go up or if I want to go down in BPM, like, and like how fast the song is, right?
Yeah.
Like we could either go, you know, like, again, just trying to figure out like I'm trying to figure out like where I'm trying to go. Like if I'm trying to go faster or if I'm trying to go slower. So then I'm gonna like curate like, all right, so I'm gonna go, if I'm going down, I'm gonna like, Burna Boy, and I'm gonna, you know, maybe I'll do some like some reggae, and you know, like I'm gonna go down to like Burna Boy's got a new song out now, trying to get down to last, you know, so like just, you know, to me, like sometimes when you got a song in your head, you're like, oh shoot, I got this song, boom, and now you're thinking about like 5 different songs. That
so there's so much music.
Yeah. But like you know, I prepare all that, right? Like so all that stuff goes in like a little prepare crate. Okay. So I'm able to like take all that music that I'm thinking about right then and there, and I'm able to like put that in a place like, all right, so I'm gonna go there, then I'm gonna go there, then I'm gonna go there, then I'm gonna go there, and then I'm gonna go there, right? And then, you know, try to, you know, so that's how it is. Like sometimes I'm like, yo, I don't know what to play.
Yeah.
I don't know what to play. And then I'm like, oh, let me play this one song, right? Like I'll get a song. And then I'm like, now I got music for another 30 minutes, off of that inspiration of that one song, So sometimes it's just like thinking of that one song. And now you're like, all right, so I know that if I go into this song, I could play, whatever, and I could go here, I could go there, I could go there,
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So when you talk about you have a prepared crate, is this like prepared crates of like a vibe you're trying to catch at a certain point of the night? Do you have something that you, because I can't see you because every crowd is totally different.
Yep.
And so you have to have some type of preparation going into your event where, all right, this is where I want to go because this the type of crowd is there, because you don't know what type of crowd. It could be a younger crowd, it could be an older crowd, it could be a mix, it could be white, black, Latin, how do you go with your preparation as far as the DJ is concerned?
So the prepare crate is something that like is on the fly. So like the way I can explain it is like it's a place where I put songs that I'm thinking about right now. It's not something that I I can't prepare a prepare crate like the day before, right? Like I would have to make like a crate. So if you think about like if this is a crate of records, right?
Yeah.
And the night before I'm like putting the music into this crate of music. So we're putting all the music. A prepare crate would be like, let me take all the music that I have and put them to the side. Right? So like I'm taking music from here, taking music from here, taking music from here, and I'm just putting them down over here because I'm going to eventually play these songs throughout the night. Yeah. Right? So so that's what a prepare crate is.
Okay.
It's something like, oh, I want to play this, so I'll throw it in the prepare crate. So like it's like, all right, it's almost like a queue, like I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, you throw it
next.
up in that kit, right?
It's a queue of like
separate playlists. Yeah.
So so that's, I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it answers the question. I'm asking these questions because I believe DJing is an art.
It is an art for sure.
It's before the MC came about, the DJ was the main attraction.
Yep.
And not everyone can do it. Everyone loves music, but can you go there? Like I'm just like there's so many times I've been out and I literally like listen to the DJ how he controls the crowd. So I'm sure every DJ has probably been through this. When you drop something and then there's times when the floor, people just run to the floor and they party. But there's also been then times when people disperse.
Yep.
Now that feeling got to mess with your ego.
Yeah.
It can mess with your confidence.
Yep.
How do you deal with that? How do you feel in that? If you ever had to deal with that, talk about that emotion and how you get out of it, and what you learn from it.
All right. Shout out to Karen. He said read the crowd. I'll never forget. I was DJing at Brown University. Like when I was in college, I used to DJ at Brown University heavy. Like I was there all the time. Like Friday and Saturday there. I played Get Right by J-Lo. Right. This is before Fabulous jumped on the remix. So I played Get Right because it went with like, Crazy in Love. It was it went with the A. Marie One Thing.
Yep.
And I played it. People turned around, looked at me, and booed me.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're figuring like I started DJing in like '99, like that, towards the end of '99. So these records came out like 03-ish, right? So I mean, I'd been DJing for like 3-4 years, so I wasn't like, super, I was confident with what I was doing, but like I'd never been booed before. Like they straight booed me, but I was so comfortable with like where I was that I was like, this is a dope record.
Right. Fuck you. This song is hitting.
I'm sorry.
We can get it right.
But the thing is like Berto said,
it's a head bopper.
Not every song is for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And this is like, at the time, this was a very pop song. Before Fab jumped on it, it was a very pop song at the time. When you think about J-Lo and where J-Lo was, she was, they would call her like the Hollywood hoe. It was like, J-Lo wasn't popping with the hip hop crowd like that. Fabulous jumping on that remix definitely helped. So it was like, yeah, I'm not messing with the record yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's get into something else. And it's just like, all right, well, if you're not rocking with this record, let me drop something that you're gonna rock with. And sometimes, when playing music, you gotta know that this record might not work, right? Like, I'm gonna play this record, like,
especially if it's new, you don't know what else gonna hit.
Yeah, there are records, like, I'm DJing 4th of July in Martha's Vineyard. Like, I already know that there are records that I'm going to play and they might not work, but I am going to play them. And, next time I DJ in New Bedford, I'm going to play this record called Taliban's. Like, it is like the dopest reggae record out right now. And I know when I play it, people are going to look at me like I got 3 heads, but like, I have to play it because it's such a big record, So, but you also need to talk it up, and you got to be confident, and you need to be ready to play something else.
Right.
That's what it is, man. You gotta be ready to
Just be prepared.
Ego, like, it's like, damn, yo.
I think it's the ability to think quick, and be able to be interchangeable with your thoughts and your hands. To do that, and it's just the coordination that you really need to have, as a testament to the art, of DJing. It's dope. It's dope, especially for music lovers, right? Like when you talk about, there's specific moments and memories that you correlate with a song. Like, I remember I was in Gold House Cafeteria, my crush walked through, and that song was playing, and we just, it's like, it takes you back. And that's what, like, I enjoy when I'm going out and I'm listening to a DJ, like, tap into those moments for me. So for me, I gravitate towards like 80s, 90s, R&B, and even some of the early 2000s stuff. Like, that's my niche, because that's where music for me was the most influential. You know what I mean? Like, when you just, it's memories, it's great.
I like to I try to look at myself as like an entertainer, right? So it's not just playing music, but it's also like talking to people, making jokes. So one thing, I always say the same thing. Like, every time I play My Boo by Ghost Town DJs, like, I tell a story before I play it. Like, and it's a true story, and I'm not going to talk about the person because we're in New Bedford. but like, it was like my first girlfriend. Like, when that record came out, and that was our song, and I joke around about it. Like, it actually broke my heart. Like, I over exaggerate everything, and get people, and then I drop it. Tap into like, people remember.
And they probably had the same experience with the same song.
They know what's up.
So, definitely, people's emotions when it comes to music, like, it's so like emotional. Like, I remember like listening to Voodoo and my high school girlfriend, and like just walking to a house when that album dropped, and like listening to the same song over and over. Like, that's what we used to do, right? Like,
so.
Yeah, I can't listen to a couple albums because of that.
Listen, talk about it. Talk about it. There's a few, but you know what? There's a few albums that music be getting you through stuff. Like, when you tap into it, when you're going through it and you're going through a breakup, it's that one joint that will just, it's beautiful.
So, like, I want to also talk about the difference when we talked about earlier, the difference of music then and now. And being a DJ, trying to combine the two. Is it hard? Because it's the music today, it is different, and we can even talk about, like, hip hop is different than it was back then. To combine it, because this is what I get. All right, so you have the newer DJs, they obviously play the newer hip hop and all that, but what I find by just my observation, when you stop playing the 90s, early 2000s, the vibe changes. Because I remember I was out with a few of my friends, and we're just standing around people watching and listen to the music, and it's so much. They went into the older R&B, the old hip hop, and you could just feel it. You could just feel it, and you could feel it in the crowd. The crowd was different. Do you notice that? Is it hard to balance that with the newer music and the older music?
I think it's harder to keep up with the newer music because everything is so disposable. And it's not to say that music is worse today, which it kind of is, but it's just more disposable, right? Like, so I was talking to my uncle, and we were talking about. So my uncle had Special Ed, the tape Special Ed, the Magnificent.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I stole it from him. Shout out to Rocky. Rocky. So I stole it from him, and I used to listen to it over and over, right? Like that's what you used to do, right? Like you weren't really fast forwarding songs because fast forwarding was a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
right? Like it was hard to
let it ride out.
Yeah, you just gotta let it ride out. It had to be a really bad song.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You gotta wait. You
gotta wait.
Yes,
you gotta. That's mixtapes. That's what you have to. Yeah, it's too much.
You
went
too
far.
Go
back. Yeah.
So like you would listen to a tape, and then it'll flip, and you listen to the next side, and then it'll flip, and you listen to the next side, right? Mm-hmm. That's how we used to consume music. People now, us, right? Like even us, right? Like we're listening to music, and it's, let me listen to the, we're talking about the Babyface album. The song is all right. Let me skip it. Skip it. And then, you listen to the album once, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't even sit with the music anymore, right? Like, it's so hard to consume a body of work when like everything is so easily like accessible.
Yeah.
We used to go to the store to
strawberries,
buy an album.
strawberries.
Right? So an album, let's say, like I remember in like the late 90s, early 2000s, on sale when an album first dropped, it would be $10, right? Like a CD, it would be $10. After that, if you didn't catch it, like when it was on sale, like after a couple months or whatever, like it would jump up to like 15, 16, 20, right? So like you would go to a store and spend $10 on an album. Now we're spending $10 for unlimited amounts of music.
Yeah.
Millions of songs in our pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's like, all right, well, I want to listen to this new album. So you listen to the new Drake album and you're like, all right, well, let me listen to I listened to the Drake album. Now let me listen to, his old music.
Yeah.
It's harder for you to like create a classic in music that sticks when we're not consuming the music like that anymore. Or even like, and because of that, right? Like radio isn't playing music. It's going through music so fast, man.
Yeah.
I had an argument with Lyle. I know you don't like Lyle, so we could talk trash about
it.
Like,
I don't want him on my back, yo.
No, you were just talking about his wedding.
Yeah. No. But we were talking, I was talking to Lyle, and he's like, 21 Savage, it was the 21 Savage Nas thing, right? And I'm like, he's like, 21 Savage is all over the Billboard, top 100. And I'm like, dog, do you realize like 2 of the most played songs on Jammin' 94.5 are like 5 years old? Right? So like when you look at the most played songs, like when you're like, oh man, I hear this song all the time on the radio. Like those are like the most played songs. So like it was Die For You. Die For You came out like 2017 by The Weeknd. That song came out in 2017. Like we were playing it in 2017 and then we stopped playing it and then it came back. Under the Influence by Chris Brown. Yeah. That song is mad old. We were playing that.
Still hits.
But like we're still playing Sure Thing by Miguel. How old is it?
Oh my gosh, yo.
That is
over a decade.
That is one of the most played songs right now on Jammin'. And not just Jammin', like just radio in general. And it's because like the music is so I think it's a combination between the music just isn't good and it's not hitting that people are gravitating to those older songs. Even like the kids, like I do a lot of kid events, like proms and stuff like that. Somebody asked me to play Stilo, I wish.
No,
like,
really?
Y'all going way back.
I look at them, I'm like, what? But it's like TikTok, right? Like people are playing these songs.
They're hearing it and they don't realize how old it is. They think it's new and it's like it's new to them.
I'm like, yo, you want me to play? Like, I remember where I was when Stilo, I Wish came out. Like, I remember being in Puerto Rico on vacation, like, and just hearing that song on the radio. Like, I remember that. Like, and people don't understand. Like people just like, oh yeah, 21 Savage is popping because he's got all these songs on the radio. I'm like, dog, first of all, 21 Savage got all those songs with Drake. Yeah. Like Drake is the one who's popping. He's just kind of, so I think that people don't realize like, how people consume music today is totally different, you know, and it's a detriment. Like I feel bad for kids now. Like they're not gonna have an Illmatic, they're not gonna have a Voodoo, they're not gonna have a Baduism, they're not gonna have, you know, any of these albums. You know, even when you're looking at like, you know, none of us are like, oh, I've got that Lil Jon album, right? But like Get Low is like a classic, right? Like, you know, like when you're thinking about like those albums, you know, those songs that we used to play or hear at the club, like those kids do not have that because they're listening to this one song that's hot right now, but it's hot for like a month, 2 months. And then it's done.
Yeah.
You know, like there are a few songs that like are really like.
But what influenced that? Like, what influenced the quick transition from song to song? It's almost like
there's so much music coming out. It's like,
is it too much music coming out?
There's too much music. Like I mean, I don't know. Somebody could look it up. Like how much music. I remember Pup Dog was telling me about like how much music comes out a day, how much music comes out a month. It is impossible to keep up with that music, and it's always changing, and it's like me and you are friends, right? So you know, all four of us are friends. So like I'm listening to something, you're listening to something, you're listening to something, you're listening to something. So we all exchange music, right?
Yeah.
And you know, so now you're getting hip to what I like and all that. But everybody's always listening to different music, and it's like, oh shoot, like trying to keep up with this. Where it was like back in the day, there was just it was really like what was popping on the radio, and if you were cool, like Margarita said,
Google says that out of last September, there were 2 CEOs of major labels that said that, or they made the claim that 100,000 songs were now getting released each day.
100,000 songs
each day.
Holy.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You better know somebody.
Finish that thought.
100,000. I don't remember what I was saying.
I know. I'm sorry, and I really wanted you to finish too. I was just like, I gotta get this out.
Yeah. Like that's a lot of music. To be able to like, you know, and then Chris Brown's coming out with an album with 40 songs. It's like, Doug, like how do you even consume 40 songs?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of music. Like you can't even. Again, when we're talking about music just playing over and over again, right? You listen to that tape or that CD over and over again, it's just on repeat. You cannot do that with a 40 album song.
No.
A 40 song album.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
I always have this debate with my brother about Chris Brown and Usher. This is the one. It's always been a debate. And like I think Usher is, as far as musically, is better than Chris Brown. And because Usher has those classic records. Classic albums. In my opinion, Chris Brown has songs.
Yes.
He has a big catalog.
Yeah.
But he don't have, like you said, that album, that timeless album.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, and that makes the difference for me.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly, like Chris Brown and Usher is almost like LeBron and Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, you know, like Chris Brown, like I've seen Chris Brown in concert, and you know, he did a whole concert. He performed for 2 hours, and then I left the concert, and you know, I was talking. You know, I went with Kristen. You know, we're literally talking about all the songs that he didn't perform. Like there were like 20 hits. Not like oh, you know, he didn't do this random song on know song number 33 on no, he like legit hits he did not perform. It was. I remember we got up to like 20. It was crazy.
That many.
Yes,
Wow.
like Chris Brown has hits, and I think he has more hits than Usher.
Yeah.
But like you said, he doesn't have an 8701. He doesn't have a Confessions.
Yeah.
He does not have that. But you know, I think back in the day that might have mattered. Like, does that matter anymore?
Yeah.
You know, like.
And you're right. Is that LeBron Jordan analogy is perfect because, you know, you got to argue, will LeBron be LeBron if he was in Jordan's era? Now, will Chris Brown be Chris Brown if he was in Usher's era? You know, where you literally had to go out and go out to the record store, like you said, and buy that whole album for $10 or $15. Is he putting out music that making people want to buy the whole album. When nowadays we can just listen to that one song that we want to listen to anytime we want for $10.
So I'm gonna say yes. I think Chris Brown is such a talent that he would be able to survive in the '90s. Like when you think about Chris Brown, like he was at that tail end of like, he came out in 2005. So like people were still kind of buying CDs.
Yeah.
So and he was big. Like Chris Brown was.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. Like I knew it. Like when I heard that song, I knew.
Yeah.
That.
Yo was great.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that. And then I think the thing that works for Chris Brown, it might be like his detriment too. Like he writes his own songs, right? Where like Usher doesn't really do that, you know. But I think if you put Chris Brown in the Usher era, he would have been surrounded with great writers, great producers.
Yeah.
And I think he would
have. Because I look at Chris, like I like earlier Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I think Chris Brown now is more of a rapper than a singer.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where I just like, you can't compare. Like I'm not gonna even have that argument, because when I listen to Chris Brown album, I'm thinking hip hop more than R&B.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of Usher, I'm thinking more R&B than hip hop.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like Chris Brown is going. He's more like he reminds me of Drake. What you know what I'm saying? What Drake's music is.
Yeah.
And it's just a difference of how music is being played. And the actual I appreciate singing. Mm-hmm. Like actually the talent of singing. It's almost like with music today is a new talent is having no talent.
I mean,
maybe that's harsh.
I know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like you're okay. So here's what I'm so appreciating about this conversation is because Julian has given us a different perspective on a music lover, right? Because I feel like you can't be a DJ unless you really appreciate music. So seeing it from a different lens or hearing it being viewed from a different lens is, I think, broadening the perspective a little bit, because a lot of times we discuss R&B music. A lot of times we discuss R&B music on here, and Berto and I are kind of on the same frequency when it comes to R&B. Like we stick to our niche, and it's hard for us to like break into any of the new stuff. But every once in a while, like we'll stop and say, "Yo, did you hear?" I listen to Sirius XM all the time, and Heart and Soul has like they'll bring in like an artist of the month and stuff, and then they like drop a new album or whatever, and it's just like, and then you like wait 3 months, and mainstream picks up that same album, and now it's like rotating. I appreciate the level of awareness that you have when you speak about music and understanding the complexities of how it transcends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that's something that we don't express too often, but a lot of times it's out of our understanding. So we're not understanding, like when you talk about how people hear music now, like we got to understand that. Mm-hmm. Not once did we think how much music comes out on a daily basis.
I didn't think about that.
And so.
And I wasn't even expecting that number.
Yeah. So then it leaves that question, is it possible for music now to transcend the test of time like music has in the past? Mm-hmm. Like music that's put out now, will it transcend into 20 years from now?
I think that the way that people put out music has to change. But again, like because there's so much music coming out, it's definitely a lot tougher than than it was 30 years ago, or even 20 years ago, right? But at the same time, like you've got artists that are you've got like main artists, right? Like Taylor Swift came out in the streaming era. Right, mm-hmm. She's not a Chris Brown.
No.
Or actually, I'm gonna say two artists, Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. Right, they came out in the streaming era. Taylor Swift sold out Gillette 3 days in a row.
3 days in a row, yeah. In the rain once.
Yeah. Like,
the tickets ain't cheap.
Like people don't understand, like, selling out Gillette once is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're selling out Gillette.
Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't even do that, no? Or even
No, there was like one time they sold it out, but it wasn't like 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
One of the biggest concerts that I went to was Bad Bunny, right? Like Bad Bunny, like he's like when you're talking about music and like, like
I've seen Bad Bunny in concert. Yeah. Yep.
He sold out Fenway, and that concert was crazy, right? Like he didn't do it 3 times. Like, like he trying to like wrap your head around something like that, you know, and I don't know how many times Beyonce is coming to Gillette. I don't know if it's once, but like I feel like it's possible to transcend and, you know, like stay relevant as an artist if you're putting out quality music.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I think, a lot harder.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the absence of the A&R when it comes to record executives has a part in that?
No, I mean, the thing is like people aren't trying to invest. What happens is Bobby Shmurda, right? Like there's a hot record out, and they're like, let's sign this guy and just hope it works.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it is. They're like, here's a hot record, let's sign this guy. There's no Whitney Houston where it's like when Whitney Houston was signed, she wasn't popping. Ain't nobody know who the hell Whitney Houston was when she got signed. Alicia Keys, ain't nobody know who the hell Alicia Keys was. Chris Brown, like nobody knew who these people were when they got signed. It was, all right, you are Whitney Houston. We are going to put you around the dopest producers, the dopest songwriters, and we are going to build you up to be Whitney Houston, right? Like we're going to mold you into this person.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Chris Brown. Like we're going to like build you into this person, or you know, whoever it is. You know, right now it's just like find out who's hot and just
go with it.
Yeah, just going with it, hoping that it works.
And that's why I think where the music is watered down for that way, because it's not about the music now. It's more about what kind of following, how many followers you have already. And that's why I'm asking the question about the A&R, because I think an A&R was a important aspect in the music business.
I mean, part of that is true, like, you know, like, but that can only get you so far, right? Like being popular can only get you so far. In you know, in any business, right? Like, if you don't have first of all, if you don't have the talent, you've got to have some type of talent.
Yeah.
You've got to have some type of work ethic. And if you don't have those things, it's a weird combination. It's a weird formula like that you need. You need to be popular, right? Perfect example is Kim Kardashian. This is like maybe 13 years ago. She came out with a song. She had a song out. Nobody's more popular than Kim Kardashian, but the song sucked.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a good song. So it's, you know, there's no amount of anything that's gonna push a really, really bad song that people don't like. You know, you've got to like the music. You know, so.
All right, we're gonna take a music break. I'm loving this conversation.
I know.
You know,
I think we should just skip the topics and just stick to this.
Yeah. We're gonna
come
take a music break. Come back with one more segment, and because I want to get
They're
into
playing music off Spotify. Tidal.
Yeah.
All right, yo.
I
mentioned her. And
Yeah.
She's not somebody that like. So type in Zillow.
Okay. Yeah. ZILO. Right here.
Is the talent
so right there,
going to
the
allow
gorgeous.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
All right. Hold on. Let me get her.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay. What is it?
Down.
Big time, yeah. Thank God.
So this is an album that a friend kind of put me onto.
Yeah. Guys, speak on it.
Yeah. So this is an album that somebody put me onto, and it was crazy just hearing this music. I feel like it's even crazier that like I just don't hear people talking about this album. Ooh. But it's one of those, like, to me it's like this is an album that I really love, and you know.
What is it called? Because people on Facebook, we have to mute it, so they're not going to be able to hear it unless they downloaded the app.
The album is called Gorgeous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had it.
All right. Hold on. What the album's name? Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
Oh, all right. What song?
Scroll down. You could probably play the first one.
First one.
Yeah,
All right.
play the first one.
All right.
Sweet Lake.
All right, so we're going to take a music break. And now, anyone that's watching on Facebook Live, we got different outlets, different platforms on Facebook Live. If you're watching, download the WNB1 radio app, and you can actually hear the song and also the continuation of this interview. You listen to the Wind Down podcast on WNB1 radio. This is Zillow, Sweet Life. We'll be right back after this. Yes. We are back. You're listening to the Wind Down podcast of WNB1 Radio. I'm B Carter, aka the Talent. Yes, you know who it is. And this is.
It's the fact that you took it and ran with it for me.
I'm running with it
because it was okay. So
y'all.
Julian, right? We're redoing our website. Shout out to 43 Degree Films.
Shout out Ace.
So we're redoing. So we had like a whole media day here, right? So I'm joking around. I say, here Berto go late. I said, oh, because he always gotta be like, he's the talent coming in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gotta wait for him, this and that. When I said the talent, that was it. Now he ran with it. It started off as a joke. Now it's like he's the talent, and now everybody's like, you know, he's the talent.
Listen,
how they know, right? That's how he was.
Yo, over the past 10 years, I've gotten to know Berto a lot closer because I have a son with his cousin.
Yeah.
And like this dude just like late, like it's always like, where's Berto? Where's Uncle Berto? Like,
they know.
Yeah. Like, this dude one time came in with like an Amazon package, like here is your gift. Like it wasn't wrapped, it was just in the box.
He got it right. He kept it on the truck after work and took it. Yeah, that's what that was.
So, yo, it's a thought that counts.
Can I just give like a quick shout out because I don't think people understand the level of camaraderie that has been cultivated around New Bedford, and for those of us that have known each other for a long time, and there's that just a common ground of respect on what we actually do and how it's intertwined, right? Berto goes back to the dancing days with Sean Medina. You've worked with Sean on different things. I provided transportation for, all these events. And I just feel like it's such a beautiful testament of how we've all evolved in our individual careers and have somehow managed to be like, yo, it's still a connect. No, let me hit up. Okay, you got time for this and that, blah, blah, blah. I think that's so dope. And to be able to like put aside the bullshit that some of these other individuals got going on, where they're just like, I ain't fucking with this, I ain't fucking with it. Like, I just shout out because we've been able to really cultivate that type of like, it's like, yeah, we got to connect. Yeah, it's a business. It's it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's been going on for a long, long, long time. I think one of the things with this platform that we're so proud of is that we're able to showcase that and the hard work and being able to stick to your craft and capitalizing on it and making the most, of it. I think is something that we really pride ourselves on being able to, give y'all your flowers, when you come on here. I think it's super important, and I really want to drive that point home because I don't think we have a younger crowd watching us, but if they do, it's that level of understanding that there's a way to cultivate very specific relationships that are long-standing, and when you stick to what you know and you capitalize on it and stick to what you love. And if you're lucky enough to do what you know and it be exactly what you love to do, if you're lucky enough to do that and be able to capitalize on it and be able to maintain relationships over the course of time, those will all come back to you. It'll come back full circle to where, you'll need individuals at one point in time. I just think it's beautiful. Yeah. So I appreciate you being here.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. It's funny that you bring up Sean Medina because like, Sean Medina is like the king of that. Like, Sean is like, oh, Berto, you dance. Well, I know that there's going to be a show in Connecticut. Let me put Berto on that show. Or like the way I met Sean was through Wall G. And even though like there's a bunch of like I love Wall G, but like I know that even if I didn't meet Sean through Wall G, like I still would have connected with Sean because Sean is so like, oh, you're from New Bedford, let me put you on. Like that
Sean,
like that Sean. Like he's like, oh, like he's always trying to figure out like the connection and like work the connection, and he's the king of that. Like he's the king of like keeping like relationships, like figuring the king of relationships and like making sure like checking
connecting,
right?
He
does. Yeah.
I think it's so important for us to like do that because there's not. Listen, for us here, we like to showcase the Black and Brown community as much as we possibly can. That's what the radio station is about. We're not shy about it. Like, this is what we're here for. We're here. It's like FUBU, for us, by us, right? So to be able to put that out there and say, you know what, this is the representation of what you could be. It doesn't stop here. You know, you can continue to do it and you can grow with one another. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing.
You know, it's funny you say that because, you know, one thing I think about is like my DJ career and like how I've been able to grow is actually connecting with other DJs. And I think a lot of times DJs don't understand that. Actually, I didn't understand that for a long time, you know, because for a long time it was like, you know, I came up under Wal G. Like Wal G showed me the ropes, and it was like I'm with Wal G, and it was just like us, right? Like it was like we looked out for each other.
Yeah.
But now that like, you know, I think about all the positions, you know, in retrospect, in you know, like all the positions that I've been able to be put in is because of other DJs, right? Like, and you know, even now, like I'm able to get more gigs because of like other DJs, right? Like you know, shout out to Fresco, DJ Fresco. Like I hit him up all the time. Like we are always like text messaging each other. He's got a photo booth, I got a photo booth. We got like the same photo booth, right? Like he's a DJ, I'm a DJ. Like you know, he does weddings, I do weddings. You know, if somebody needs you know something, you know, and he can't do it, he hits me up, and vice versa. Like there's only so many days in a year. There's only so many events that you could do. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of DJs, older DJs, younger DJs, they still don't understand that. And they wonder why they're stagnant. And you know, I wondered that for a long time as well. Yeah. Yo, honestly, shout out to Dick G. You know, Dick G. I remember Dick G. Yeah. Dick G, you know, he was really, really popular in the area, and he respected me. He thought I was a dope DJ, and he was like, yo, I wanna, you know, I want to show you love, and I want to give you, you know, like it was, you know, I DJ'd his birthday party. He put me on, you know, Half Pint. It was like all three of us. We DJ'd. You know, people don't realize like that is how you grow. And, you know, even now, like I get so many gigs from like my DJ friends like, yo, I need somebody to cover this gig. You know, so now I'm in different venues that I would never be in, you know? So, you know, I just want to say that because I think that the problem is people look at other people as competition.
Yeah. When it's talk about it.
Like me and Fresco, even though we have our own DJ businesses, I don't look at him as competition. Obviously, like I want to, like if Berto is looking for a DJ and like I'm like, yo, book me, you know, like, don't book Fresco, book me. But at the same time, if you were to book Fresco, I would never be like, yo, why'd you book him? Yo, he's black, you know. Like it's like at least I know that you're gonna have a good time. And you know, I know that you know we just build it. You know, Wal G's mother, I'll never forget. She, you know, everybody knows like one hand wash the other, and she was like, yo, one hand wash the other, both wash the face. And like bugged me out when she said that because like you know I wasn't expecting that last part. It's like, she said one hand washes the other and both wash the face. You know, because she saw like. You know, I told her I was like, yo, I just, you know, Wal G really put me in a great position. Like he didn't have to do what he did. You know, he really like called, you know, took me under his wing and you know showed me the ropes and you know like you know.
But that looks like it when you're saying what his mother said, like that's how he was brought up. He didn't know no other way. Like that helped him too, probably with the craft and enjoying it.
Yeah, but like me and Wal G had such an ill relationship, like because I would, you know, when we were talking about playing songs that just didn't go, right? Like, making mistakes. Like Wal G, I would drive up to the gig if I wasn't DJing, I would drive up to like Sanctuary or I'd drive up to Stars or wherever Wal G was DJing. We'd drive up together and we'd drive back together, and it would be like, you know, we would talk about the night, like I was like, yo, Wal G, like, yo, what you did from this transition to this transition was crazy. Like that was nuts. Like, yo, that was so dope. He was like, yo, I'm like, yo, but why the hell did you play this record? And it was never like I'm hating. It was always like building and like
together.
Like he was like, yeah, you know what? Like, man, I don't know why I did that. And it was like, yo, you should, you know, maybe you should do da da da. You know, and it was always like trying to build, you know, just trying to build each other up, and like now you can't do that.
Constructive criticism.
Do constructive criticism. You can't do that now, man. I cannot tell somebody that like, oh man, that was not it.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Really?
though? Why?
People are in their feeling. People are very sensitive. You know,
Sheesh.
what's funny is like I DJ'd, you know, I DJ'd an event in, you know, I was set up for like a certain crowd and it was a totally different crowd.
Yeah.
And the person who put me on was like, "Oh, you did a great job, da da da." And I'm like, "Ah, man, like I wish it would have been like, listen, you should have did this better.
Yeah.
You should have did that better." You know, because I don't want to hear how dope I am. I never like you can't. You can never be harder on me than I am, and you can never like make me feel better than I already feel. Like, because I feel like I'm a realist. Like I know how good I did. Like I can see people rocking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, you telling me, "Oh, you're such a dope DJ," like I'm either reading the crowd and seeing that I'm a dope DJ, or you know, and you know, sometimes you know, crowds are fickle. You know, like sometimes I hit, sometimes I miss, but you know, I would rather hear you say, you know, "Oh, I wish you would have did this better."
Yeah.
You know, I wish you would have, you know, no, I wish, but like I think you should have done this better. Like this would have been sounded better if you did this. You know, like that's the type of, you know, things that I like. You know,
I think it takes a certain level of maturity to have that type of conversation, because people aren't, what I've learned as we evolve, right? And I think specific to our generation is we either have to make the choice on whether or not we want to be better or we want to stay here.
Yeah.
And I think with our generation, they've struggled with that a lot. And I think it's multifaceted on the reason why, but until we get past that part of I want to stay here and switch over to I want to be better every day, those conversations won't happen. You know what I mean? And I think it's crazy. I really do. I think it's crazy that people aren't willing to invest in themselves mentally to get there, to say, how can I be better tomorrow? You know, and how could I lead with empathy and everything like that, you know?
You speak on that when somebody's not being totally honest with you. There's a difference between being nice and being kind. Being nice, you could be like, "Oh yeah, you did a great job," even though you didn't. Being nice, but you're not giving the criticism, being kind about it, and being what I mean, being like, I'll give an analogy. You can see someone that got a flat on top of the side of the road. You can drive by, it's like, "Oh, poor baby." She goes, "Oh, you got a flat," and drive right by.
That's me.
You know what I'm saying? Or you could be kind.
I'm like, driving right by. I ain't stopping. This world's too crazy. I'm not trying to die.
But you could be kind. It's like, "Dude, this person got a flat," and be frustrated, but you help them out and be kind and being honest to help them out. And I think people like when sometimes when people being nice is not being real, or I don't want to use the word fake, but I use the word fake.
Yeah,
you know, but kind is a totally different. Nice and kind are totally two different.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. I did get somebody texting me asking because they want to know, how did you get on with 94.5?
That was my next question. I'm about to ask. Tell them, don't do my job. I'm a talent.
I'm just saying. Somebody texted me and said, make sure you find out how he got on 94.5.
We're gonna go there.
By the way, Clark is one of my good friends, and I wanted to say that. That's my boy.
Yeah. You said Clark, and I know. I was thinking about Adam.
Yeah.
No.
What was funny is I was gonna ask a question about Adam, but I'll ask you off air.
He's the one who texted me, by the way.
Oh yeah. Voyage, like you can't say, I don't know, like I guess it's like calling me Julian, right? Like people are like, who the hell's Julian?
Yeah, I know.
Right? So when people say Clark, I'm like, who the hell are you talking about?
I know,
about?
DJ
Like,
Voyage.
Yeah, my man. Shout out my man DJ Voyage.
All right.
He's my sweetheart.
Yeah, like
love him, love Navi. Yeah,
me and him great. Like we're like one of the DJs. Like I'm cool with all the DJs on Jam, but like when it comes to me and him, like me and him are always texting, like always, you know, like if I need music, like you know, like we always exchange music as far as like, you know, specific things that we need for like radio and stuff. So anyway, shout out to my man Voyage.
Yeah.
And Voyage is, I mean, Voyage actually got on the radio like a totally different way.
Yeah.
He won a competition and got on the radio.
Wow. Yeah.
So but you know, when talking about how I got on the radio, like I always have to like trace it back to like the origins, and it's like, and I don't even think he understands this, but like it really started with Wal G, right? So Wal G started a crew called the 45 Go Crew, right? And back in the day, I always used to wear a 45 adapter. It was, you know, if people don't know,
the chain on your
yeah. Well, it was for me. It was just like a rope, and then I'll put the 45 adapter on it. For people who don't know what a 45 is, it's like the small record with a really big hole in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's called a 45. And the reason why it's called a 45 is because you have to play it faster than a regular record. So you need a 45 adapter. So we used to rock that. Anyways, so we had a crew called the 45 Go Crew. It was me, Wal G, this other dude, Mad Cat. And then Wal G had connected with Roy Barboza. And a lot of people don't know that Roy Barboza is actually from New Bedford.
Yep.
So Wal G connected with Roy Barboza and changed it from the 45 Go Crew to the 45 Crew and brought in a whole bunch of DJs. So like DJ Lust, Master Millions, my man Val Beats. And then, other DJs started joining after, like just kind of growing the crew. And one of the DJs that they added was DJ Pup Dog. Now, Pup Dog was a dude from LA who, started interning on 94.5 and just kind of like hustled his way up.
Morning show when it was hot.
Yeah, the morning show. Yeah. He did the morning show. The morning show's still hot.
No, don't shoot me down like that. Listen, okay, we can give them that thing, but I'm from the era of Pebbles and them. So he said, "Don't be talking shit about 94."
Yeah.
Right, don't be messing with that shit.
So they started I built a small relationship with Pup. Like me and him went like super cool. But like we had a relationship. Like he looked out. And when Roy was looking for like guest DJs, like he had put me on. He put me on like a 6 to 9 in the morning mix show.
Yeah.
Like so it was the first time I DJ'd on Jammin'. And that was like 05-ish, like 2005. Like I got my first shot on Jammin'. Like it was crazy.
Were you excited?
Super excited. Man, it was crazy. It was surreal. Like it's almost like I'm here. Like this is. But it was a guest spot. It wasn't like I was full time, and that was it. Like I DJ'd on Jammin', and that was it. Like I wouldn't DJ on Jammin' for like another 4 or 5 years, and it was a call from Pup Dog. He was like, "Yo, you wanna?" He asked me to do. They've got a reggae and reggaeton show called Tropical Blends. So he asked me to do that, and I was like, yeah, I would love to, right? Like reggaeton and reggae. Like reggae was my thing back in the day. Like I was a reggae, like reggae head. So I was like, yeah, I got it. So I did the mix, and then he had asked me a couple more times to like do just kind of like guest spots for like long weekends. Like we got July 4th weekend coming up. We're gonna be mixing, during the holiday season. Like we just mix longer, right, on the radio. So he asked me to do that, and then I was like, I don't want to do this sometimes. Like I want to do this all the time. So Pup, I set up an appointment with Pup. He talked to me. He was like, if you want to do this, the best way to do it is to intern at the station. Like figure out how like all this stuff moves around. Like if that's what you want to do. And what's crazy is like I tell people I graduated UMass in 05. But really what I did was I just walked, and I was I was like one class short, or 2 classes short from graduating. And I never technically graduated, even though I walked. So I still I was like, well, I got an intern, but like it was almost like a blessing in disguise, because like I needed an intern class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so what I did was, and the other thing that was a blessing is I worked for Youth Build. So I was an AmeriCorps member. So they gave me like $1,600 or whatever it was to like put towards going to school. So I just took that money that AmeriCorps gave me in the 2 classes that I needed for UMass, and I took like a video editing class, and I took an internship class. So I was able to like just be at the station. And I mean, the internship was only supposed to be like 16 hours a week or something like that. Man, I was there like morning to night, because I was interning for the morning show. So you got to be there at like 5:45 in the morning before the morning show. The morning show starts at 6. So I was there like 6. Sometimes I would leave at 6, right? Like, sometimes like I would never leave earlier than 2.
Yeah.
So I was there from like at least 6 to 2, sometimes later, sometimes 9, 10, and just really grinding it out, learning, the
whole aspect,
learning everything, right? Because I mean, you guys see it, right? Like it's not just like just jumping on the mic.
No, it's a lot.
A lot of preparing. It's like Margarita's working the board, and like you've got to play the music, and you got to figure out what music is going to come next. So like really learning all that stuff. So and Pop was like, yo, if you want to get on jamming, like send me a weekly mix every week, right? And intern. And and on top of that, like I'll give you a couple mixes, if I can fit you in. So like I was doing all that stuff, like just, and I had a job, like so I was really like grinding. I was grinding, like I was getting no sleep, and I mean, to me, I didn't care. So that's actually how it got on, through that relationship. Again, talking about relationships. That's how I was able to like get on jamming, and I'm still there like 11, 12 years later.
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
What was the biggest experience that you remember so far from working from just a prestigious radio station like 94.5? Like, what sticks to you? What if it's someone who you have met because of working there, or I've seen you interview certain guests, certain artists. Like, what resonates you? What sticks to you? What was like a great experience?
There's so many. It like DJing the first time on the radio. Like I'll never forget that. Like I'll never forget like that feeling of like DJing on the radio for the first time. I'll never forget. Like you said, like interviewing Jadakiss, like Jadakiss, man. Like, I mean, young kids might be listening and like, it's Jadakiss, but like, we grew up like, it was like, I'm sitting next to Jadakiss playing a video game.
Yeah.
Like, who can say that?
Yeah, no.
There were a lot of people who could be like, oh, I interviewed Jadakiss, right? But like, me and him were doing something that like you do with your boys.
Yeah.
So that was dope. Pub Dog hooked me up, like, he was like, yo, you want to open up for Sean Paul at the House of Blues? Like I DJ'd in front of like 1,500 people at the House of Blues, like for Sean Paul. So it was like literally like I DJ'd, I got off stage and Sean Paul came out. Like that was like I'd never DJ'd for that many people before. Like it was crazy. It was a crazy feeling, So those are like the main memories that like stick out. The good memories, right? Because there's also the grind. Like not sleeping. But like as far as like great memories, like those are the top probably 3 memories that I've got.
When you started, did you have like a goal to be on the radio, or a goal, or did you just do what you did and landed where you are?
I think when I first started DJing, I wanted to do radio. Like, I wanted to do all the cool things that everybody does, right? Like I wanted to be like DJ Premier, make beats. I wanted to be like, at the time, Roy Barboza, because Roy Barboza was like the man, so I wanted to be on the radio like Roy, and I wanted to, do tours and all that stuff. But I never really pursued it. So like I never was like, how can I get on radio? There was one time I submitted my resume to Phone 107, and they actually gave me some good feedback because like I went dressed like, like it was the early 2000s, right? So like picture me like early 2000s, like big jeans and, like big shirt. And they were like, this is a business. Like I was like, oh, people think like, oh, you work for 94.5, you must, but it's a business. It's like iHeartMedia is like a $1 billion company, right? So you just can't show up like, dressed like hip hop, right? Like it's a hip hop radio station, but it's also a business. So, I never really pursued radio. It's funny. That's kind of a lie.
Go ahead.
Because, when I was in high school, when I first started DJing, Ben Gilbert, I was I was really tight.
I just saw Ben the other day.
Yeah,
because he's here. He's out here from California. We actually stopped the car because we was driving down. He was at Izzy's. I saw him in the. We had just went Abolition Row was just the whole big thing the other day. So we were over there and we were going down to get some food. And we drive. I said, "Wait, Ben, stop the car again. I haven't seen Ben in so long." Yeah.
I haven't seen Ben in years, but like Ben was always like trying to put people like where he
The
thought
third
that,
eye,
so he knew I had just started DJing. He was like, "Yo, they're looking for DJs on the radio station at UMass."
Mm-hmm.
So like I was DJing all that time. Like I started when I was in high school. I literally started like DJing at UMass when I was in high school. So I was DJing on the radio up until I started doing like Music Fiend out of Providence, and I started doing 94.5. But like it was never like for like commercial radio. Like there was no future in college radio. As far as like really attacking some of these things, people used to ask me all the time, like, "What are your goals?" And I was like, honestly, even still now, like if you ask me like, "What do I want to do?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I have no idea. What I say is like the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey. Where it's like just say like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like Pup Dog told me, "Oh, there's an opportunity at the radio station. Do you want it? Do you want to go?" Yes. Why? Because it's an opportunity, and it's hopefully something comes out of this opportunity.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Like whenever somebody asks me to do something, even if I don't know if it's gonna be if it's gonna help me out, I just try to take it because I don't know where that. And it's funny because when you're talking about Dwayne and him,
choices.
Like he was like, let me just do this, right? Let me just work out with it. Like that's literally what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just putting myself
in the position
in a position to be seen, right?
Yeah.
Like oh, Jules is working, because now I'm at the radio station more. So there are different things that I'm doing now. So it's like now I'm seeing more. I'm doing more work. So
yeah.
Julian, what's the one thing that you would tell your younger self today? If you had the opportunity to give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I think I kind of touched on it. It was the just network more. Network more. Like, I feel like I started to network. When I was younger, I was very, what's the word?
Naive.
Not naive. No, like
ignorant a little.
Timid.
Not definitely not timid. I was very like, like this is mine. Like I don't want you
protective.
Like, protective. Like but like
territorial.
Territorial. Thank you. I was very territorial. I did not want. I looked at everybody as competition. And I think it was around the time, probably like around the time Dick G came around, where like I was more of like I feel like I was more of like seasoned, right? Yeah. Like where like some of the DJs didn't, I didn't feel as threatened by some of the DJs.
Okay.
But like I feel like when I first started DJing, I was very territorial and very like just ready to like battle. Like I didn't want to make DJ friends.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because like from the jump, like it's always been a DJ that's helped me. Like my man Val Beats, like still to this day, man, like he still helps. I was talking to B Max.
Yeah.
I was like, he was talking about
he DJ'd at SMU too. So yeah.
So like I was like, he was like, oh, I just bought X amount of X gear. I was like, yo, you gotta talk to my man Val Beats. Like he's got that connect, right? Like Val Beats is the one who like used to press my mix CDs, like, and he used to hook me up with a crazy deal. So for me, it would be embrace these relationships, embrace these, everybody's not your except for Voyage.
We're just texting each other. I was like, I said, thanks for tuning in. He said, sorry, I'm late. I said, we just mentioned you.
Voyage is, I don't rock with Voyager, so he's I got beef now. But yeah, you know, like I think that would be the big thing. Yeah, just networking. You know, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who's gonna put you in a position to win.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah.
What is your dream DJing job?
Yeah, again, I don't know.
Don't got it.
I don't got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I was talking to my boy, and he was like, you know, we were talking about the radio station thing, and he was like, you know, just kind of asking me how it's going, how everything's going, and I'm like, you know, I love what I'm doing right now, but like just thinking about radio and like they're downsizing, right? So like trying to figure out like if I'm going to be able to do what I am doing right now in 10 years from now. You know, 20, right? Because like right now I'm trying to figure out like how I'm going to retire off of DJing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, cause I don't want to get a job at the R&V, you know, like I want to be able to like figure out a way to DJ for jamming, you know, maybe not DJ for jamming until like I'm 50. Right. But like be a part of jamming until I'm 50 or, you know, 65. Right. Like, and it's not like DJing again. It's not DJing, but it's like behind the scenes, doing production, doing music director, or you know, whatever it is. Like I'm just trying to figure out what that is. And I have no idea.
Voyage said you need that health insurance and that 401k.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
So like obviously you DJ on the radio, or you DJ clubs. We've spoken on that, and you you do private events like weddings and things of that nature. Yep. There's totally 3 different atmospheres.
Yeah.
Speak on the difference of the art of DJing is the 3 different atmospheres, because I believe that you got to use 3 different skill sets.
Yeah.
To DJ in those individual atmospheres. Speak on that, the difference of those things.
Yeah. So, you know, when looking at private events, right, you're looking at what that client wants, right? Like, what do they want to hear? What is the music that they like? And it's, you know, when we're talking about trying to figure out what people want, reading the crowd, all that stuff, it's like that at an accelerated rate because you only have a certain amount of time to do that, especially with a wedding, right? Like when I'm DJing a wedding, typically it's 5 hours. And it's like, you got to knock out the ceremony, you got to knock out the cocktail hour, and you got to knock out dinner. Yeah. So you're getting maybe 2 hours of dancing. How am I going to make these people dance in 2 hours? Like, what is going to get them to go? It's crazy. Yeah. Like, you know, trying to figure out, like, what they want to hear. Sometimes, you know, sometimes things go and sometimes things don't. You know, like, sometimes I'll have a wedding on a Friday and, like, every single song I hit knocks them out the park. And then I'll DJ Saturday and it'll be, like, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's so crazy. So, really, it's like really trying to it's like speed reading. You know, when doing a private event, it's really trying to figure out like what people want to hear, and you know, making adjustments on the fly.
It must be real hard to read a room at a wedding because you know the whole mindset of going there is for the wedding versus if you're at a club, you know, they're going there to party.
Yeah,
you know, the mindset's different. So. You know, you got to also, whatever environment is, you have to create a party regardless of the mindset. And I feel like maybe a wedding's harder because, you know, the attention's going to be elsewhere. The focus is elsewhere.
Yep. So, like, you're 100% correct. Like, it's definitely tough because there are some people who, like, they're just partiers, right? So, like, I'm sure when you went to Lyle's wedding, like, people were ready to party. Like, it was that type of crowd.
Wajid killed it. He killed it.
I'm sure he did, man. I'm sure he did. You know, like, but, like, even if Walji wasn't there, like, I'm sure people were ready to party, right? And then you add Walji to that mix, and it's on another level because he's playing it all. You know, it's definitely a lot difficult because there are people who are there just to, like, be to be nice, right? Like, you know, out of respect, like I've got to go to my niece's wedding, right? So you're trying to figure out like what grandma wants to hear and also what, you know, little Johnny wants to hear. And you know, you're trying to like get everybody on the dance floor at the same time and just having people, you know, have a good time. It's you know, whereas like a club, you know, when we used to go to Sanctuary, we knew what we were going to hear, right? We knew we're going to hear. We're going to hear reggae. We're going to hear some hip hop. We're going to hear this. it's a lot easier to like navigate a club because you kind of know what people want to hear in general. So for me, that's the main difference with radio. Excuse me, with a private party in a club. Like people, like you said, people are ready to go and dance. Like that's why they're going. They're going to drink, holla at chicks, and dance. And even that, but I mean, right now it's a little different. I'm talking about when we were going out, like
back in the day, it was I'm going out, I'm busting a move. We're coming in, the girls are coming in, so we're shimmying. Got to make sure the shoes are right so we can make sure we can last all night.
Chubby.
Oh my God.
Chubby Chub.
Yeah,
DJ
Chub. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Chubby, you go anywhere like that's I went for my bachelorette, everything. Chubby Chub.
Yep.
And me and him stood there. I was in my dress. I was like, the crowd's not like everything, every vibe I wanted. The family wasn't feeling. So it was just like, I was like, we were having our own conversations, but it was just, so it's hard. He was like, damn. And I'm like, I wanted to hear what I wanted to hear, but it was a hard vibe where you go to any event and he's just like, let's go. It's Chubby Chub,
Yeah. I mean, I mean, who DJs a club better than Chubb? Like around here, like nobody, So, but like when you're talking about like different skill sets and, just, and honestly, I feel like sometimes I know that Chubby Chub can do that, right? Like he can navigate through different genres. And Jazzy Jeff said, it's like 70% talent and then 30% the crowd. So sometimes it definitely is the crowd, and sometimes it's just like not knowing how to DJ a wedding, and not realizing like you've got to go through these records and you got to play these songs, and sometimes it's like, oh shoot, maybe I should have played that.
Because you normally get a sense, right, when you have your consultation with them. You're like, okay, what type of music would you like me to, and then you kind of run off of that.
But like Gene said, like there are times where like
it's not hitting with the crowd.
He did the consult. He did what exactly what I wanted. It wasn't so. That's what I'm saying. The private events, I could see it being more difficult. The energy and the work that you're putting in to make that day special. That's one day.
It's one day. It's 2 hours. Trying to like knock it out the park. And sometimes it's like this is the vibe we want, and then it's like but it really wasn't. Like there was a couple. I talked to them. I was like, "What do you guys want to hear? Like, what are you guys into? Not what do you want to hear. What are you guys into?" And, the guy was like, I'm into Jay-Z, Kendrick, Kanye. He kind of went through like, but I don't want that played at my wedding. He was like, I don't want any of that played at my wedding. Nobody's gonna like that. Like, this is kind of like the vibe we want. So, I'm doing exactly what he's telling me to do, and the vibe is people are dancing, but the vibe wasn't there. Like, man, I was like, I called him on the dance floor. I dropped PSA by Jay-Z, and he loses it. Like, he's like wilding out, and all of his friends are into that music too, right? Because like, if you like Jay-Z, your friends are gonna like Jay-Z. So like, it just changed the rest of the night. Like, and he came up to me, and was like, "Why did you play that? Like, who told you to play that?" And I was like, "I just played it." He was like, "Nobody told you." I was like, "No." Like, and his wife is telling him like, "Yo, he literally just played that, just like to in." So, sometimes it's just trying to figure out like what they're really into. Because once you're dancing, I mean, that's the hope. Like, once we get you on the floor, like that energy just feeds through, and everybody just kind of joins.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. We're gonna take one more break, and then we're gonna come back with the final thoughts and the Clutch Jack quote of the week. These have been a great conversations, learning the art of DJing and the importance of music, in different atmospheres. I learned a lot. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
So we'll be right back. We're gonna play this song from Nas. I like this song from his album. You listen to the Wind Down Podcast on WMB1 Radio. This is First Time Nas. We'll be right back after this. Back and listen to the Wind Down podcast on WNB1 Radio. I'm your host, B. Carter, called The Talent, and this is J9. Yeah, my co-host and my producer, MG, in the building
What
with
up?
our special guest, D-Day Jules.
I think you meant DJ, but I'm gonna let it go.
I did say DJ.
You said B. You said B.
No, I said D.
It was
I
like
just
you
said
got
it
you
slow.
with words, got caught up. The talent
Okay,
slacking
all right.
is getting late.
Talent. He's
It's
talking
getting
too
late.
much.
It's getting
He
late.
spoke
I'm
too
an
much.
old head. Final thoughts, ladies. How was the show?
So good. I don't even want to. You know what it is? I don't get to see Julian often, and you know, we're not in contact with each other on a regular basis. But I stay rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
You know, I really do. I stay rooting for you, and I think I've gotten caught up in my career. Berto and I talk about. I started my career at a very young age, ahead of a lot of my peers, and when I see you just doing your thing and staying headstrong with it, I just think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I really do appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I had a great evening. I thought I definitely learned a lot from an aspiring DJ who always DJ goes. Maybe you can. I'm gonna get some lessons from B Mags, but I have all the equipment, everything. I respect the art, what you have to do. I do not know how to do it, but I have a love for it, and like you said, controlling the crowd. What you do, like the events, it's more than just going out there and playing music. You know what I mean? It's in the heart. So I love that you came out, that you shared, that you sat in that lunchroom and said what you wanted to do and that you were going to do it, and you're doing it like big. So that's dope.
Yeah, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Like I already respect the art of you DJing. I mean, obviously we have a family connection. You know, I love your son. He goes, you know, obviously with my cousin, he goes, I consider you a friend, even, you know, a family member because of that. But sitting here and listening to you, I could feel and hear the passion that you love for music.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to have to be a good DJ. It's not a mistake that, you know, you're successful in doing what you do because you love music, and you can hear that. And, you know, to be honest with you, this interview gone better than what I thought. You know, I didn't know, like I knew what to expect because obviously I want you because I know the knowledge you have in DJing and in the music, but I learned a lot. And it was a very entertaining, informative interview that I appreciate you coming on the show. I think a lot of people that watched or listened probably enjoyed it just as I did. So I just want to say thank you. It was an enjoyable show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what do you think being on the Wind Down?
I made it. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's dope. Appreciate it.
Came on, got all the topics deleted because your conversation.
It was. That's an example of a good guest.
Yeah,
you know, we don't need topics because the interview of our guests took on the whole time of the show.
Yeah.
You know, so
it was great.
Again, I want to thank you. So how we end the show off every week, we do a thing called the Collective Chat Quote. If you don't know what the Collective Chat Quote is, go to the Collective Chat on Instagram. A friend of the show and supports us since day one, Kendall Smiley, and she always posts these quotes every week. And I just pick a random one every week to end the show by. And this one I picked was, "The vibration of being who you are and doing what you love is magnetic. You will align everything you need in your life with that energy." So that is the Collective Chat Quote of the week. I want to thank all our listeners and all our watchers. Anybody that's watching on Facebook Live, download the WNB1 Radio app. We're here every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When we don't have technical difficulties, you know, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. But again, I just want to thank Jules, DJ Jules, coming on and, you know, showing his passion in music and educating us on music. I want to thank you again. And I'm going to end it with something old school. This is from Mobb Deep featuring 112. It's called Hey Love. I want to thank everyone again. listening, watching. We'll be back next Sunday. Have a good night.
Let it ride.